I suppose we should begin at the end, and the end seems to be that the scale of the Republican majority in the House, in the Senate, is such that whatever happens in this trial, Trump probably hasn't got that much to worry about, or is that needle beginning to nudge?
Well, I think that he's not going to get removed in the Senate trial, so you need two-thirds of senators to vote to remove a president. He has already been impeached by the House, but not removed. That's where we're now in the trial phase in the Senate. I think this is a political question now, which is to say how much damage will it do to him in the November election, where he's trying to get reelected. And I think this is something where it could be quite substantial, depending on how this unfolds, especially as you suggest, they are trying to do effectively a cover-up. And, it's not just that there's no evidence and no witnesses being allowed according to the Republican rules they're proposing, but also that they'll control the cameras, which normally the networks, the various public information outlets would control the cameras and make sure that this had wide publicity, and instead the Senate is going to control them. So they're trying to keep the evidence out, the witnesses out, and they're trying to keep the television cameras limited, which is not exactly what you do when you're innocent and want to prove that.
Why do you want to control the cameras? Because we're so innocent. It's got a certain ring to it. Why don't you want any evidence or any witnesses at this trial? Because we're just so innocent. We don't need them. I'm joking. You're sort of slightly tongue-in-cheek in these observations. How do they not register more with Republican senators? How have people that have been in politics for their entire lives and probably thought that they had a fondness for democracy and transparency and accountancy are now lining up to say, what do we want? No evidence, no witnesses, and full control of the cameras. Joseph Goebbels would be proud, but God bless America. How has this happened?
Well, I think, the thing that the Trump era has exposed is how much, principles fall by the wayside, particularly in the Republican Party, when naked partisan self-interest is on the line. And there's a huge number of people. It's really the thing that stunned me about the Trump administration's sort of last 3 years in office is the degree to which people in the Republican Party who have tried to present themselves as principled conservatives, small c conservatives for their entire careers, are willing to utterly debase themselves for Donald Trump, knowing that the loyalty goes one way. The second they even say a single word against him, he'll throw them under the bus.
Or claim he'd never met them.
Yes, well, and it's something where I think, to put this in a British context, the accusations against Donald Trump are very serious. It's a story of political corruption. And if you put it in the British context, it would be as if Boris Johnson was accused of saying that Ukraine can have £300 million in weapons and a visit to 10 Downing Street if they investigate, say, Jeremy Corbyn's family or Keir Starmer's family.
Yes.
It's a very big deal.
Or just announce that they're investigating. I think that's a point a lot of people miss, is that they don't care. There's very little prospect or no prospect at all of finding evidence of any wrongdoing. But the minute they announce that they're investigating, Trump presents it to his base as job done, proof that there's something to hide.
Correct, and that's why this is all about the optics of the election and trying to, extort Ukraine's government into giving Trump ammunition to use against the Democrats in the November elections. And this is exactly why impeachment was designed. If you go back to the Founding Fathers several centuries ago, they worried about a corrupt president who would effectively abuse the powers of the White House in order to seek personal or political gain. And that's what Trump's accused of doing. And I think what's striking about this is that the people who testified against him in the House impeachment proceedings are Donald Trump's hand-selected surrogates, right? The main surrogate was Gordon Sondland, who is still the U.S. ambassador to the European Union, who donated $1 million to Trump's inauguration, who said Trump did this, right? So the evidence is overwhelming, and it's not a series of Democratic hacks saying it. It's people that Trump picked to be his representatives abroad and in the White House.
I sit here and you're not telling me anything I don't know. Many people listening will be thinking they might have misheard you. What? He paid $1 million, got given a big job, and now he's giving evidence against Donald Trump, the fellow whose allies are currently arguing that there shouldn't be any evidence or witnesses or network control cameras at this trial because he's so innocent. These are the moments when you realise that obviously that cliche about shooting someone on Fifth Avenue was true, but that there are people there with their little flags and their MAGA T-shirts. I don't know how to describe them anymore because they don't care about the truth. What do they care about?
Well, I think they care about, being on what they see as the winning team in a political wrestling match. And I think this is one of the big problems with populism in general is that, politics is really about, at its core, making other people's lives better.
Yes.
But what it's become is our side is beating your side.